So, in the last class, we learnt about forward feed. So, what exactly is forward feed? You have the inputs. Each input gets multiplied with weights to add weightage to the inputs and get passed through a multi-layer perceptron to give an output. In a multi-layer perceptron, we have nodes. So, the input gets multiplied with the weights, and in each node, they get all summed up together and passed through a function, that is an activation function. This gives us an output which acts as an input for the nodes in some other layer, and this goes on and on until you get the predicted value. Since all these weights and biases have been randomly initialized, there is no way that the predicted value is going to be close to the actual value. But our model, if we need a good model, we should have the predicted value to be as close to the actual value as possible. So think about it. How do we actually come to this thing? You have the inputs, you cannot change the inputs, you can just pre-process it. The only thing that you can change in this entire model is maybe the weights and biases. Hence, weights and biases need to be changed so that y hat is very close to the actual value, right? Hence, weights and biases are known as trainable or learnable parameters. Trainable or learnable parameters. So, we have to now change the weights and biases, adjust them in such a way that we have the actual value very close to the predicted value. So, we are introduced to the next concept, loss. So, what is loss? Loss basically means how different or how much does the predicted value differ from the actual value. Now, this can be in many formats. You might have read about some. You might have read about some like L1 loss, L2 loss. There are many more losses. We will come across this later on. But yes, so we have this loss. For a good model, we need to have the predicted value close to the actual value. That means we have to have very low loss. So let us look into our problem statement now. What is our problem statement? We need to change weights and biases so that we have very low loss. This is our problem. This is our statement. We have to solve this. So, how do we actually change the weights and biases to get a very low loss? For that, we use optimization technique. So, what this means is we have to optimize the weights and biases so that we have a very low loss or minimal loss. So there are a lot of optimizers, but today we will just talk about the most basic optimizer, the gradient descent. So what exactly is a gradient descent? Think of this manner. Here is a hill. You are standing here on top of the hill. You have to go down to the minimum value of the hill. That is our problem statement, right? We have to reach the minimum loss function. So you are here, you have to reach the minimum value. What you can do is you can slowly descend downwards. Since you are descending along the slope, it can also be known as the gradient descent. Let us look into this in a graph problem statement. So this is a graph of loss versus weights. You have randomly initialized the weights and biases here. Hence, since all of this has been randomly initialized, you are going to get a very random loss. Let's say here you have the loss. As in this problem statement you were here, in the same way you have a loss here. You have to reach the minimum loss. This is our problem statement, minimum loss. So, to reach the minimum loss, you have to slowly descend downwards. Now, why can you not do it in a fast manner? Here is the thing. Suppose you have, it takes 5 steps to go down. Suppose instead of 1 step at a time, you are taking 2 steps. So, you are here, you take 2 steps, you take other 2 steps, and if you take another 2 steps, you will reach here. You have realized, okay, you have not reached the minimum value. So, you take 2 steps backwards, but again you reach here. You will never be able to reach the minimum value. So, you need to take the steps very carefully. Hence, 1 step at a time. 1 step, here, here, and now you have reached the minimum value. So, here also, since you cannot take a lot of steps and suddenly reach here, you have to slowly descend downwards. How will you do that? Like I said, this is known as the gradient descent. So that means you have to measure the gradient at every point and then reduce it from the weights. So that means, suppose you have weights, new weights will be equal to old weights minus this gradient. So gradient means the slope, and you can calculate the slope by differentiation. So you come across this equation. That means the new weights is equal to the old weights minus differentiation of y with respect to x. It always happens like this. So we have y loss here and x as weights. So differentiation of loss with respect to old weights. So that is how you are updating the new weights. Now here you have a chance of going 1 step at a time. You have a chance of going 0.5 steps at a time. You have a chance of going 2 steps at a time. So this magnitude is known as the learning rate. This is denoted by eta. So this magnitude also we need to signify, like how much is the magnitude while going downwards, the descent. So you have this eta function here. So the new formula comes up to, the new weights will be equal to old weights minus eta times of differentiation of loss with respect to old weights. Simple. Okay, now let us look into our problem statement. See, you have the loss here, you have the inputs here, you have the weights all over here across this. So you can differentiate this loss with respect to this weight. But can you differentiate the loss which is here with respect to this weight? See, this weight is connected to this node. These nodes also have weights for here and so on. So can you change just the weight here without actually changing the weights here? This is a big problem because this network is highly interconnected. So any change here in the starting layers will cause a lot of changes in the further layers, outer layers. So we need to do something about it. We cannot update the loss and differentiate the loss with respect to the weights here, but we need to somehow find a way to do that. Hence we come across what is known as back propagation. This is a lot like chain rule. You will learn more about this in the next video. Thanks for watching the video and keep learning.